A special shout out to the big patrons of the month, including the Nerd Therapist and Dan the MiniGolf Wizard. Thanks, heroes. Hey Pokemon Masters, Toby here, and today we are doing a brand new Pokemon theory. Yes, it is finally happening. It's finally theory time. I want to do more theories. I miss doing Pokemon theories. Although when I say new theories, it's an old theory. It's one of my favorites that's not been seen by a lot of people on the channel. With the release of Detective Pikachu, there have been even more cool little references and hints, and I think it ties together in an even bigger kind of way and could mean more for the future of Pokemon. And I know we're all excited about Sword and Shield right now, so Detective Pikachu is so last month. But hold up, because this one is a big one that connects Detective Pikachu with Pokemon Colosseum and Gale of Darkness, with the original Pokemon anime and the games. We are talking a full in-depth Pokemon theory, and like all Pokemon theories, a good Pokemon theory, you take lots of little strands of circumstantial evidence and you stitch them together and you go, look, they make a little pretty picture. So this one's a little less than pretty. This one's kind of, it's a little bit evil. I'm talking about how the main villain from the Detective Pikachu movie, and spoiler warning, by the way, if you haven't already seen it, the main villain works for Team Rocket. And before I get into the video any little further, don't worry, it's not a sponsorship, there's none of that, although thank you for being so understanding when there are sponsors on the channel. I'm really happy with the way everything's going. I just wanted to take a little moment to say, hey, thank you for watching, thank you for supporting, you're awesome. Anyway, that said, let's get on with the theory. So before we get into either Team Rocket or the Detective Pikachu movies, let's talk about the best GameCube spin-off game, Pokemon Colosseum. Oh, sorry, Pokemon Colosseum. The other one, not the best spin-off game. This game has you going on an adventure around the Ori region, facing off against the Team Snag'em and Team Cypher evil teams, trying to recapture the Shadow Pokemon and purify them. There's also a sequel, Gale of Darkness, which is essentially the exact same thing. Team Cypher has returned, and the Shadow Pokemon there's a Shadow Lugia that is kind of transformed. It's almost like a whole new form of Pokemon. We're going to get to that stuff a little bit later. A Shadow Pokemon is essentially a Pokemon that has had the door to its heart closed off. It has now become somehow stronger, it's a little bit more confused. It might even attack humans, which Pokemon conventionally don't. It is an evil Pokemon, and it's up to you, the main trainer, to purify these Pokemon. Team Cypher are like the more sophisticated, organized part of the organization. They actually create the Shadow Pokemon, whereas Team Snag'em are just on the streets, thugs trying to steal Pokemon that they're going to repurpose into Shadow Pokemon. Very similarly to the way that Team Rocket behaves, with a more sophisticated organization up at the top, especially if you look at the manga, where you've got these higher up grunts, you've got a bunch of the gym leaders are a member of Team Rockets, and then you've got the thugs on the ground floor, on the streets, who are trying to recruit and then also steal Pokemon. And these Shadow Pokemon, they're kind of like Dark Pokemon from the TCG that I guess first started appearing in the Team Rocket card type Dark Pokemon. It's been a theme, and in fact it's connected to Team Rocket as well in several different places throughout the anime. In the Pokemon 4th movie, there are Dark Balls that a member of Team Rocket uses to capture a bunch of Pokemon, including Celebi, and it kind of makes those Pokemon stronger, more enraged, exactly the same as a Shadow Pokemon. With Celebi, it even transforms it a little bit, giving it darker rings around the eyes. Maybe not quite as full as Shadow Lugia, but definitely a transition in that direction. In fact, there is a card that I even have called Dark Celebi, and yeah, it's just like it's its own kind of thing. There is also an arc in the Whirl Island story where there is a Rage Crown, an item that you put on the heads of your Pokemon. Team Rocket grunts use it, Dr. Namba invented it, that again enrages the Pokemon, makes it stronger, but more aggressive. Now we know that in the world of Pokemon do have other accessible forms, including, for example, Mega Evolutions, and these forms themselves are also pretty dark in origin. Read any of the Pokedex entries, and I'm talking about like Mega Salamence here. These entries are dark and provide a window that for a Pokemon to become its fullest, its strongest, it might need to go down a very dark path. Now, there are other versions of this, like the Ash Greninja, the Battle Bond Greninja, that seems to be less evil. And we know from the TCG, as well as there being dark Pokemon, there are light Pokemon. So perhaps there is a light alternative to dark Pokemon. But Shadow and Dark Pokemon definitely exist. We see them almost begin to transform in Dark Celebi. We see it fully in Shadow Lugia. We see Mega Evolution as a form of that. And in fact, in Pokemon, there is a Shadow Mewtwo. Mewtwo, another Pokemon very closely linked to the realms of Team Rocket. This Pokemon has been fully encapsulated by some kind of corruption stone that has turned it Shadow, and it can even go Mega. It's pretty terrifying. Also pretty cool, why can't these be in the main games more often? So how do these dark Pokemon from Pokemon Colosseum kind of tie into Team Rocket? Well, as already mentioned, we've got the different kinds of technology, we now have some theming here with Mewtwo, and the same organization structure between Team Rocket and Team Snag'em and Team Cypher, but that's not the only thing tying the two organizations. Team Snag'em are known for stealing Pokemon belonging to other trainers, and inside one of Team Rocket's labs, the one that Mewtwo blows up and then recreates, there are a number of Pokeballs that do exactly that, kind of like an early snag machine. Mewtwo uses these Pokeballs to try and steal other trainers' Pokeballs. There is a lot of theming similarities between these two groups. But back in the day, the theory that I came up with to tie them together, the bit of very circumstantial defining evidence, all revolved around Dr. Namba. Dr. Namba is a chief scientist working for Team Rocket. He usually has Butch and Cassidy working underneath him, and in the Whirl Islands arc, he's trying to capture a Lugia. Now we know in Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, the key Pokemon is a Shadow Lugia, and there is one specific admin that managed to turn Lugia from Lugia into Shadow Lugia, and that is the admin Lovrina. Lovrina has a few key Pokemon on her team, Luvdisc and a Shadow Delcatty, which, by the way, 2 out of 3 of the last times that Dr. Namba appeared in the anime, he appears once in the Sinnoh arc. But before that, in the Pokemon Chronicles arc, which was coming out around the same sort of time as these era of games, I guess that arc came out a little bit before Gale of Darkness, so there you go. Dr. Namba was trying to steal 2 specific Pokemon, Luvdisc and Delcatty. Luvdisc specifically because he wants to remove love from the world, which sounds a lot like Shadow Pokemon, closing off the hearts. But also Delcatty. Why would Dr. Namba want Luvdisc and Delcatty? Perhaps as a reward for his favourite admin. I always wonder when Ash takes out an evil team in the anime, why don't they just keep on trying with their plans once Ash Ketchum has left? Or what if that Dr. Namba did? There's 2 Lugia that are living in that part of the ocean, there's a baby one and a fully grown one. What if the moment Ash left, Giovanni just refunded Dr. Namba and he took another one? Dr. Namba got that Lugia sent out to the All region where Lovrina turned it into Shadow Lugia, and then Dr. Namba rewarded her with a stolen Delcatty and a stolen Luvdisc. Again, the Delcatty turned into a Shadow Pokemon. I'm just saying, there's a lot of links there between the 2 organizations. But then it gets even deeper once again with Detective Pikachu. We know that Detective Pikachu is probably set in the same world of the games. I mean, we've already seen there is a clip that has Red in it in the movie, or someone who looks a heck of a lot like Red. And on top of that, the evil scientists mention Mewtwo having escaped from the Kanto region about 20 years ago. Now, hunting down and seeking the escaped Mewtwo is something that Giovanni has always wanted. And in fact, in the Rainbow Rocket arc where he's successful, he does actually manage to have the Mewtwo that he lost. So hunting down Mewtwo and trying to recapture it, very much a Team Rocket move. But while watching it, I was looking at the purple gas spreading out of a Lugia balloon, a Lugia floater towards the end of the film. The purple gas that they're using to control and then ultimately fuse people and Pokemon. I'm looking at that stuff coming out of a Lugia and I'm like, huh, that reminds me of Shadow Lugia. And while not really a reference or an Easter egg, I'm very, very sure, what I am certain about is that gas, the rage gas that makes the Pokemon more aggravated, more enraged, it changes their form a little bit, turning their eyes purple, just like a dark Pokemon or a shadow Pokemon. And not only that, the Pokemon in that state seem to be happy to attack people. They are confused and they are enraged. It has shadow Pokemon written all over it. But on top of all of that, the gas, its street name when Tim Goodman finds it, it is known as R. R simply could mean rage. Of course it could. It could mean rage. Absolutely. This gas is extracted from a very rage-filled Pokemon, Mewtwo, and in fact that in itself is a reference to the Berserk gene from Generation 2, an item that causes confusion but ups the strength of the Pokemon. This is all the template, it's all in the workings, but what the R could really stand for? Team Rocket. The most famous R in all of Pokemon. The evil organization Team Rocket, Giovanni's hunt for Mewtwo, the shadow Pokemon, and how similar the structure of Team Snag'em and Cypher are to Team Rocket. How there seems to be this weird bit of crossover with Dr. Namba and a Delcatty and a Lugia and a Luvdisc. How the evil organization of the Detective Pikachu movie seem to have this shadow-like gas, this knowledge of Mewtwo's escape, and the gas itself is called R? That is not a coincidence. That's a Pokemon theory. But of course, you'll have to let me know your thoughts. Is there any other bits of connective tissue that I've missed, or am I way off the ball? Thank you for joining me for just another fun little Pokemon theory. I have a whole playlist of Pokemon theories, most of which I've actually gone through recently and been like, how many of these are wrong? And a lot of them are making the cut. I actually think a lot of them are still very, very possible. So let me know which Pokemon theory has been your favorite. If you haven't seen them all, go check out the playlist. Thank you for your support as always. You're an absolute legend, and soar high, Pokemon Masters.
This is Ash Ketchum. You just watched a video by Birdkeeper Toby. That makes you a Pokemon Master!